And so, Neuvillette Zhongli official banner has finally been released. It's interesting this time around, I would say, because looking at the 4-star character, I say it's, something to be expected, and it's rather nice that these characters are here. Now, obviously, as usual, we're going to be discussing everything in this banner on this video so that you guys have some head up in terms of, some of the advice I've got whenever you're deciding to whether or not pulling on in this banner. Now, obviously, as usual, the most important things are going to be the 5-star character that are going to be on the banner. Neuvillette, technically speaking, usually are going to be a very obvious choice because overall I don't think I have to talk a lot about Neuvillette as a character because he's still one of, if not the best character in the whole game, and especially when it comes to the ease of gameplay that you've got access to him. Not to mention, over the past years that he has been released, there has technically been multiple buffs towards him as well. Even though he is already a very powerful character, there are some newly introduced support character that works very well on Neuvillette team, especially whenever you're talking about Shilonen, for example, or our recently released Auroron can technically also work decently well on a Neuvillette team as well, allowing him to have a more versatile team comp, which is interesting whenever you're looking into building and diversifying more team comp for your Neuvillette. So I would say his ability and his power level are still technically always there. Therefore, if you're considering about Neuvillette's character himself, well, yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about because he's always going to be a very good character for a long time. Now, the story isn't really the same for Zhongli. I think Zhongli has multiple reruns up until this point, so technically speaking, if any of you who would love to have Zhongli, you should already have him. Either that or you're very much earlier on in the game, you just started Genshin Impact, you just got back into the game, but feeling that the game is a little bit tough for you to clear or speed run some of the content, then yeah, Zhongli can still help you, but I always just have to say that I'd rather you investing into a very good DPS character that can take out your enemies before they kill you than investing into a shielder, then prolonging your battle time and also, risking not getting full star in the abyss. So basically, those are going to be the problem of Zhongli most of the time right now. Overall, his popularity kind of shoot back a little bit whenever Shilonen came, because now, if you really want it, you can have a Geo Resonance team running with Shilonen and Zhongli on the same team, pairing that up with your sub DPS and DPS character to build a team around that you can work something like that. But obviously there are so many different team comps that are very good at this point that I don't really think you have to fret too much about building a Geo Resonance team unless you really like Geo and love Zhongli as a character, which is, well, yeah, at that point you're probably just going to be deciding for yourself anyway, so that's going to be a nice thing. As for the 4-star character are the ones that I really want to touch on, because first of all, Hazel is finally back. Oh my god, the last time I remember he was like when? 3.7? I think, if I am not wrong. So, oh my god, like a whole region and a half ago. Now, I mean, overall, Hazel as a character isn't really too good. His constellation is pretty decent if you invest and have his cons. But again, that's more towards a preference type of character. Now, if you're looking into more of his use cases, many of the time he can be the driver on field for you and also deal damage, which is a similar role toward Sucrose, where she's more or less a driver but more toward a support character, whereas Hazel is going to be the driver and dealing damage for you. So that's rather nice, and he can do some pretty nice nuking showcase because it's similar to how you have a One Punch Man showcase, which is interesting here and there. But again, it is a preference kind of thing, and there technically hasn't really been much buff toward him. Now, the more interesting character obviously going to be Fischl. Right, everyone loves Fischl. She is our princess in Ertelong. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but every time Fischl's here, it technically makes the banner a lot better than it is. So if you haven't got Fischl's constellation, I really do wish you good luck. She has always and most likely will always be one of the best 4-star character in the game in terms of how much damage she's able to dish out, and she regen everything she's able to do in terms of electro applications. Right, being the 4-star character with max constellation at times a lot better than some of the sub DPS 5-star character out there in the game. It's very much worth it for you to try and get. And obviously Yao Yao is a rather nice addition to the banner. Not the best character that you always want to have, but Yao Yao still has her values because as a healer Dendro character, we technically still lacks that here and there, because I don't think most of us has a Baiju on your account, and Baiju hasn't been back for a little bit of time. So if you want a Dendro specific healer on your team, Yao Yao has to be the character. And while she has access to decent Dendro application, not the best, but is decent, she has access to healing your on-field and your whole team as well, which makes her the better character when it comes to healing team-wide. And obviously it's fun to having her around. Like specifically guys, I still run my Yao Yao in a Nilou Bloom team whenever I'm using her. So obviously Yao Yao specifically as a character still has decent value on my account, which I'm pretty sure you're going to find value for Yao Yao regardless of which account you're using. Now her constellation is nice if you do have it. You know, she has a little bit of support here and there, and also a little bit more damage for you. Not too much of an importance, but it's technically is some of the better constellation that you have out there in the game. So if you're pulling on this banner, obviously it's not a must pull, but if you're trying to get Official's constellation, you know, you can try and swipe it here and there a little bit. And you know, having Hazel and Yao Yao constellations obviously isn't going to be the worst case scenario. So overall the banner characters here are on the better side. Now yeah, the weapon banner, it is to be expected, is going to be the Vortex as well as the Eternal Flow weapons for Zhongli and Neuvillette. Obviously not a must pull because overall these weapons are really not that universal. The Eternal Flow is nice, it gives Neuvillette a ton of crit damage, but while I've never actually had a need to pull for this weapon because Neuvillette himself is already a very good character, even if you're building him on a free to play kind of build. I've always had him on the prototype Amber. He's been good ever since. It's nice, it has the ability to help, you know, heal your whole team a little bit more, and it gives you a freaking ton of HP as well. So you're cutting back a little bit, you know, not having a crit damage weapon, not risking a ton of pulls to get his weapon, and he still helps me to clear the abyss, right? That's the Eternal Flow. But overall, if you do have this weapon, it's very good on him. It gives him a ton of crit damage, so that's kind of nice. Well, on the other hand, Vortex, it's a pretty bad polearm. You're gonna have a hard time using this weapon on many of the characters, but you can use it on Zhongli and it looks nice on him. But overall, I think that's just that. 4-star weapons is interesting. This time around, the 4-star is rather nice. Now, first of all, Fischl specific bow, like if you look into it, I think Fischl is technically the only 4-star character that have a personal unique weapon, right? Other than that, I don't think any other 4-star character has access to it. So it's kind of nice if you do have this weapon. Well, it's you know, it's not the best to use your Fischl on, but it's still good and it's good looking as well. So if you do get this weapon whenever you're pulling on the banner, it's okay to have it on your account. Now the other options, right, the Sack Fragment, the Favonius Sword, as well as the Dragon's Bane, really nice. You also have the Favonius Claymores as well. Overall, that's a really nice 4-star if you do decide to try and pull for the 5-stars. But regardless, honestly speaking guys, I would rather you not pull on this weapon banner and save your Primo Gems and either invest that into your character pooling for this time around, or wait for future characters banner, because that's what we're going to be looking into right now. It's going to be discussing about future banners discussion. As you know, Mavuika and Sitlali is going to be the next new 5-star appearing in patch 5.3. So technically, that's going to be 2 new 5-star characters. Not to mention the reruns on 5.3 is mentioning and rumored to be Alekino and Cloran. Now Cloran is more toward a preference side, but wow, it's Alekino guys, right? She's also one of the best characters out there currently right now in the whole entire game. So first, let's discuss the character one by one. Mavuika is the character that's technically sought out to be one of the most aimed toward character right now, but she is the Pyro Archon. She's sexy as hell and she rides a freaking damn motorbike. I am pretty sure that she's going to be shaping up to be a very badass character, and most of us, unless you don't like Mavuika herself, is going to be wanting her to be on your account. Okay, so that's one thing. Citlali, you know, she has very unique personality. If you've read through the story quest already, I'm pretty sure many of us are going to be enjoying Citlali as a character. I myself enjoying her as well, and I'm actually saving a lot of my Primo Gems. Probably I'm going to be investing into Citlali more than Mavuika because I'm really enjoying and I really want to have Citlali on my account. So that as well, Mavuika and Citlali is already shaping up to be a lot of Primo Gems investment on that side. Not to mention Alekino, you haven't got her already. That's going to be another consideration on your side. So looking at it for the final phase of patch 5.3 and shaping up towards patch 5.3, there's going to be a lot of Primo Gems consideration on your part, depending on whichever character you're deciding to pull. So obviously, you know, as we're moving into patch 5.3, once we have more information, I'm going to be allowed to discuss more in terms of the characters that's going to be rerunning as well as the new characters. But right now, how I'm feeling about is that if you're not pushed to have a very good DPS character, you're feeling that you're not needing a Neuvillette that much. You don't like his playstyle because on, you know, technically speaking, he is more of a boring character to play, then yeah, I'd obviously recommend you to try and save your Primo Gems until you have more information on Mavuika and Citlali personally, and you should be able to make a more educated guess until that point. So we're still going to have to wait around 3 more weeks to get more information because 5.3 live stream is going to be then. But hopefully overall in this video, I really wish that I would have been able to help you guys out in terms of some decision making. So guys, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss out on my future Genshin videos to help you guys out. If you're still having trouble deciding on whichever character to pull and you're lacking in the Primo Gems, don't forget to check out Loot Bar, as I'm sure they will be very helpful to you. I really appreciate you guys sticking with me to this part of the video, guys. And with that, I wish you a super day, and I will catch you on my next video.